Hello, all my fantastic fanatics. This is your man, Dr. Usher, coming at you live and not dead with another fantastic topic for you today. Yes, I am alive and I'm not dead, and I got a great word for you today. Well, it's not really a word because I'm not preaching, but let me just start off by asking you a simple question. What is the one thing that global warming, overpopulation, and the pharmaceutical companies have in common? I want you to think about it, okay? Now, if that's kind of hard for you to answer, let me rephrase or let me ask it in a different manner. What is the one solution for global warming, overpopulation, and it involves people making billions of dollars for life? So before I answer this question, let's start off with a little bit of history, because I'm a big history buff. I've been researching this for a while. So start with some history. In 1968, a guy by the name of Paul Ulrich wrote, I think his name is Ulrich, I can't pronounce his name, it's like a German name, but in 1968, a guy named Paul Ulrich wrote a best-selling book titled The Population Bomb, in which he discusses the collapse of civilization was near. He literally stated that the collapse of civilization was near. And this collapse was to be caused by overpopulation. He stated that sometime within the next 15 years, that there would be an utter breakdown of the capacity of the planet to support humanity. Now, guys, when this came out back in 1968, it freaked out a lot of people. Now, it's quite evident that Ulrich's postulation and his book was wrong, but there are still many entities and governments who still believe this to be true. And thus, since the 1970s, everybody, since the 1970s, many world governments and private organizations began efforts to slow down or decrease the human population. So, how many people can this planet sustain? Well, if people don't move around and they stay in one spot, and we cut down all the trees and use, every inch of land, then the earth can sustain 282 billion people. 282 billion people. Now, that's a lot of people, but that's if we all sit real still, don't move around, and we chop down every tree. But if we keep our trees, the earth can sustain about 150 billion people. Now, if we include pasture-fed animals, because we got to eat, then it drops down to 96 billion people. Okay? But that sounds like a lot of people, but that's if we remove all farmland and only use grazing, allow the animals to graze, have your trees, and we don't move around a lot, okay? But if we want to be realistic I say, and allow people the ability to move around and migrate like we normally do, because look at us now, everybody's going on vacation, everybody's traveling, everybody wants to go somewhere, then that number drops down to a meager 10 billion people. What? 10 billion people? 10 billion people. That's the maximum amount that this earth can sustain. Well, guess how many people we have on the planet right now? Come on, just take a wild guess. Enlighten me. I'm just going to go ahead and answer it. There are about 7 billion people on the planet right now. And guess what, y'all? According to the United Nations, the Earth population will grow past the 10 billion mark in the year 2100 to 11 billion people. 2100. We're in 2021 now. So in 2100, this planet will exceed, according to the United Nations, will exceed its ability to sustain life on this planet. Wow. So there is urgency here. Governments around the world for the past 50 years have tried numerous methods to slow down or decrease the population of the earth. They want to slow it down. So one of the first methods used was the legalized abortion on demand. That was the number one method used. And that actually started long before 1973 because, strangely enough, after this book was written in 1973, Roe versus Wade was passed. Now, is that a coincidence? I don't think so. It's not a coincidence, people. This book came out in 1968. 1973, abortion on demand was passed because a lot of people believed that within 15 years of that book being written, the earth was going to not be able to sustain life because it would be overpopulated, not enough food, and there would be famine and all kinds of mess everywhere. The whole ecosystem would just collapse. So it's not a coincidence, people, that abortion was passed in 1973. Now, the next method of controlling the population or controlling population growth was contraception and sterilization. From America's push to get every woman on the pill, and some of you guys were old enough to remember that big old push in the 60s and 70s to get everybody on the pill, to China's one-child policy, governments have been engaged in tireless efforts to curb the Earth's population. Now, as you know, none of these efforts have worked. Because had they worked, we wouldn't be in the predicament that we're in right now. Because according to the United Nations, again, in 2100, the Earth's population is going to be more than the Earth can sustain, and we're all about to die. So if all those methods that they tried over the years work, so let's go over some methods, because some methods I need to share with you. Let's look at some of these methods. Wars, that doesn't kill enough people. Crime doesn't kill enough people. Drugs doesn't kill enough people. Abortion didn't kill enough people. Contraception and sterilization didn't stop a lot of people. So what other methods do you think the world could use to try to avert this disaster? Well, I'm glad you asked, because the answer is right in the smack of your face. It's right smack in the middle of your face. I'm telling you, it's right there. Boom, right there, people, right there. It is the LGBTQ. What? What, Ralph? You done lost your mind. No, I'm dead serious. The LGBTQ is the only viable solution to save the earth from overpopulation, and those who are smart will make billions of dollars supporting it. And I'm being dead honest serious. The LGBTQ is the world's solution. So let me explain the obvious. Okay, you might be asking, well, how can that be true, Raph? Well, let me explain the obvious. I'm just going to explain to you the obvious. A man and a man can't produce a baby, right? A man and a woman. A woman and a woman can't produce a baby. So let me repeat that. A man and a man can't have a baby, and a woman can't produce a baby. Thus, the more people there are who are gay, then the less babies that are born, and the less babies means lower population. Now, this is just me being a conspiracy theorist. I'm not a big conspiracy person, but I'm going to show you something, okay? Because you might be asking me, well, Dr. Rav, you said that there's going to be people to make billions. Yeah, that's right, I did. And here's how. There is a new prominent wing of the LGBT community called the transgender community. They are the biggest and most vocal of them all. If you remember this is the last day of Pride Month. And if you don't remember all the commercials that came on about transgenders, they're everywhere. They're giving, guys, okay. So you might be asking why. Why has there been such a push to promote transgenderism, especially with kids under the age of 18? Well, think about it. In order to be transgender, one must be subject himself or herself to taking artificial, pharmaceutical, made hormones for the rest of their lives. Do you hear me? In order to be transgender, you have to take that man or that woman, I don't know what to call them, I don't even know what to say anymore. Those individuals must take artificial, pharmaceutical, man-made hormones for the rest of their lives. Listen, pharmaceutical companies are making billions. Billions. Think about it. Little Debbie's 10 years old. She feels she's a boy. So the doctors give her a lifetime supply of hormones. Now let me ask you a question. Who's paying for it? Who pays for those meds? I hope you don't think that the pharmaceutical companies are paying for it, because if you are, I got oil wells in Texas I want to sell you. Don't you think for 1 minute that the pharmaceutical companies are just giving those medicines away for free? Because they're not. Okay, so you think I'm lying, right? Okay, you go, well, the pharmaceutical companies, they could be, they could be out there, and giving the medicine away. Okay, so you think I'm lying. Well, if you're watching this video live, oh man, you know what? Once this video is over, I'll post this video online. And so when you go to my website, go to drusher.com and go to this particular topic where we're talking about the transgender saving the world. And I want you to look at the NASDAQ data for Clarus Corporation. Write this down, Clarus Corporation, okay? They are the makers of Jatenzo. This is just one of the drugs. It's a hormone drug for transgenders. This is just one of the drugs that they make. Now, upon the approval of transgender rights, their stocks have grown, check this out, 300% since 2017. It's in NASDAQ. Go to yahoofinance.com and look up Clarus Corporation. See it for yourself. Look at all the medications that them poor kids are being given. And you tell me if those pharmaceutical companies aren't trying to make $1 billion off those kids. It ain't got nothing to do with we just love these kids. No, them turkeys trying to make money. And they're using these poor little kids and they're suffering as a means to do it. And I personally think it's wrong. That's just my opinion. Now, let me ask you, don't you not find it suspicious that the push for transgender rights coincides with the threat of overpopulation and these pharmaceutical companies banking millions, if not billions? If we dive deeper, you will find out that Clarus Corporation is a huge lobbyist, people. They are playing both sides for profit. Ha! Y'all think these corporations care about y'all? Look, LGBTQ people out there, you transgender people, all you guys out there that are in that lifestyle, listen, don't get mad at me. I'm just preaching and speaking the facts, because when you go on my website, I put it all there. You can go there, you can go to change.org and have them, shut down. I don't care what you do. But I just want you guys to understand that you don't need to trust what these people are saying and doing. And you darn sure better not trust, these doctors that are getting, little backhand money in their pocket for putting your kids on these medications. You think they're doing it because they love you and they love these kids. People, come on. Don't be so naive. It's about money, okay? So, let me close with this. If you are in the LGBT or trans community, just know, and I repeat, just know, there are corporations who are making big money off of you. From the daily AIDS medications to the hormone treatments that some of you guys are taking every day. You need to understand something. You are just another cow in a pasture being sacrificed for slaughter for profit. These people will pump you up with whatever drug you want. They will even pass legislation to give you more rights to access to their drugs. They don't do this because they like you. They do it because it would keep them in the top 1% while you stay at the bottom grazing in your own manure. So let me tell you this. I'm about to close. Let me tell you this. Don't trust the LGBTQ message. Stop trusting it. Look, you can be whatever you want to be. Pastor Raffi doesn't care. That's your life. That's your choice. Or whatever you want to believe. But I'm going to tell you this right now. Don't believe anything that some of these people tell you because they're getting money from these pharmaceutical companies. And they're going to do that because they're making money off of your suffering. They don't give a crap about you. They just watching you suffer and they're making money while you suffer. So instead of trusting the message of LGBTQ, I want you to trust evolution. Allow yourself the freedom to change or evolve into whatever you want. You are free to detransition or become straight. It is your life. Quit allowing these activist groups to dictate how you should live your life. I mean, come on, people. If this is what you desire for your life, if this is what you feel like you should be doing, then by all means, I ain't got a problem with it. The Constitution guarantees us life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. Be happy. But at any moment you feel like, hey, you don't feel happy anymore living this way, by all means, change. Yeah, they'll talk about you like a dog. Yeah, they'll stab you in the back. Yeah, they'll do all kinds of bad things against you. But you know what? You got God on your side, and you'll have me on your side. So don't you worry about them people. You just be free. This is your life. Nobody else can live it for you. You live it for yourself, okay? Because there are people out there who don't want you to change because then they will lose millions, if not billions, of dollars. And you might be thinking, man, this world sure is cruel. Yes, the world is cruel, okay? So as I close, do yourself a favor. Do yourself and everyone around you a favor. Do as much good as you can while you can. And the best good you can do is to make Jesus Christ your Lord and Savior. He is the solution to all your trauma. He can heal all your pain. He can fill that empty void that you feel inside. Okay? Jesus is that answer you've been looking for. So that's all I can say for now. And I'll see you guys in the comments. So peace. I'm out.